Hello, hello. You're listening to Resilient Brown Mamas, the podcast, a podcast for everyday mamas searching for understanding as we navigate motherhood, mental health, love, and life. I'm Sheena B.
I'm Sonia G.
And I'm your girl, Mica Rose. Welcome to episode 2, and we'll be discussing parenting adult children today.
Ooh.
Please follow us at Resilient Brown Mamas Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Girl, let's now get into it.
Woo.
Hello, hello, everybody. Whew.
Everybody just sound winded. Like this week, what this week do to us? This week had its way with some of us.
I did not think I was going to make it through the week, but I'm still standing and I'm still breathing.
And you are here.
That sounds resilient to me. You haven't said nothing yet.
I made it, Mama. I made it. So, you guys, I want to kick off today's episode with the bounce back moment of the week. So, this week's bounce back moment of the week, I'm giving it to myself. Not because I'm selfish or I'm vain or anything, but I think it's just a reminder to ourselves. As women, let's just say as women, forget just being mothers. As women, we commit to our families, our spouses, our job, just all the people around us. And a lot of the times we forget to commit to ourselves, to commit to our well-being, our mental health, our needs. And this week, I was having a rough week. I definitely was having a rough week. And I was like, this can't keep happening because it's been happening often. And I just decided to recommit to myself, my goals, everything, just recommit to me and not be afraid or feel some kind of way for telling my children, not right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's hard.
So one of the things I did at work, I was working 6 to 3, which meant that I was getting up at 5:30 in the morning. That was a lot. I wasn't getting enough rest because I was going to bed super late because I told you I got a 4-year-old.
Ooh. I can't remember that. I can't remember that far back.
And I wasn't getting enough rest, and I felt like I needed to designate some time for myself. So I switched my work schedule to 8 o'clock. So now I get up at 6, from 6 to 6:30. That is my time. Even if all I do is lay on my bed and look at the ceiling and breathe and just, thanking God for the moment.
Yeah.
If I want to get up and drink a cup of coffee in peace and silence, if I want to do a workout, whatever it is I want to do in those 30 minutes are mine. I just wanted to share that as a reminder to all those out there that it's never too late to recommit to yourself, and you can recommit to yourself as many times as it takes. Don't get discouraged because you're like, oh, this is the 3rd time, this is the 10th time. Nobody's counting.
Right.
Nobody's counting. Like, as many times as it takes, don't give up on you.
Self-correction.
Girl, right now I hear our resilient circle, in the background clapping for you.
Right? And some people like me
who
are nervous. That makes some people nervous, like me, who just like, I can't do that. But it's very encouraging. So thank you, because it can be done. It doesn't hurt. Nobody's gonna die. Like to just set that time aside, it is important. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Welcome.
You can do it, but just like with Sheena, it's a decision.
Yes.
It is. It's a decision. And, it's never too late to make that decision. And again, do it as many times as it takes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
So let's get into today's topic.
Oh, come on.
These kids ain't kids no more.
Man.
Oof.
What does that look like as time goes on and you're looking at your children and they're no longer that little girl or that little boy that we so often see them as, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how does that dynamic change or shift over time or in different stages of life, right? Mm-hmm. And how does that dynamic look when you're still kind of in mother mode, and
Well,
they're
You're
in
never out of mother mode.
right, you're never
right.
out of mother mode, but they're in I'm a whole grown
Mm.
person in this world
Yeah, yeah, rightfully so.
mode. What does that look like, you know?
Yeah. Mika, you want to go for it,
No,
Mika? Go
no,
ahead,
I was
Mika.
gonna let the seasoned mama go first, cause
Nah, you go ahead.
all right, I'll go look. I know my baby's gonna be listening to this one. Like, what's my mama gonna say about me? Cause she
Mm,
crazy, and I am. For me, I've always had the issues with my baby growing up. She is a Virgo. She's very type A. She just handles things as they come. So every phase in life, like that delicate stage that I'm in now with my youngest, going from 6 to 7, now you're out of kid and you're going from 7 to 14, which is like that next block of like adolescence and all the body changes, emotional changes. But my oldest Genesis always rolled with it, and I knew that when she finally left home, which was this spring, she went to college, that I was gonna have the harder time, and I was right. She just spread her wings and just flew. And it I thought I was going to take it a lot harder than I do. And I think that she makes it easy for me because she still reaches out to me. She still has those hour-long conversations a couple of times a week, or just a random "I love you, you're the best mom ever." And it seems um like fake. I feel it's so good that it's like fake when I talk about her. But that's
Right.
always how she's consistently been the mature one in my relationship with her. It sounds crazy, but you know what I mean? Like, she's the mom,
Yeah.
good and you're good. She left me with homework. Like, you have sat here and just thrown yourself, into being a parent. Why don't you just concentrate on being Mica? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
mm.
You got these certifications. Be meek for a little bit, do your hair. Like, she's the one that have you been eating, and she still allows me to parent her, which helps. I
Right.
feel like where she's at now, it's like my report card. Like, I get to see my Yelp review just walk around here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did that. And she sits there
Yeah.
with me like, my mama did this. You know what I mean? And I think I can't even say we got stronger, because you can't get stronger than strong is. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like,
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
we're still solid, and it's like she makes it a point to make sure I still feel relevant. And she still boasts about me to her friends in college, and she has those conversations where they're like, wow, I wish my mom was like that. And that makes me feel good. So I think just us checking in, her still allowing me to parent me, giving her respect. Because before, I was like, when you get in an Uber, you gotta call me and you gotta share your location. And she
Yeah.
she sets boundaries with me. Ma, you're not gonna sit home and go crazy over me. You gave me the tools. We can't control the outside factors. I
Mm.
will call you if I need you, but I'm about to move around this city. And I had no choice but to get in line. But like I said,
Right.
she still gives me a little bit, you know and I think that's what keeps us going. I pray that we continue to be that way, and I still get parented by my parents, so that's all she sees, and I think that's why she's like okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's awesome because she still lets you be the mom. It's not
Yes.
like, it's not like she took away, that amazing responsibility that we have, because then that's all we know, right? Because then you feel
Yeah.
empty, like, all right, well then now what do I do if you don't, for lack of a better description, if you don't need me anymore, then just like she said, you have to find you, because
You
then
gotta
you sit
find you.
there and say, well, who am I, and now what's my purpose?
And I think that's why, and we'll move on, but I think that's why, to Sheena's point, is good that she's setting those
Mm-hmm.
boundaries for
Yeah.
herself now, because I was warned by people who didn't have children. So I was like, but there's people who don't have kids that still give advice. And I had a friend, who's
Yeah.
no longer a friend now, and she was like, you don't want to hang, you don't want to do anything, even though you have this great support system in your mom and your siblings or whatever.
Right.
What are you going to do when she turns 18 and you have nothing and nobody? I
Yeah.
never pictured not having nothing and nobody, because she's my best friend,
Right.
and
Awesome.
so I could still tell her, I could stick out my tongue and be like, hey, you were wrong, because we still close, but there's still those things that I forgot how to do, like go to brunch. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I definitely think I like that we have a balance there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're gonna bounce off of each other because I have a few things that seem a little opposite to what you just said, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it.
All right, let's bounce right back into it. So, Sonia, I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
Is that my green light to go?
Yes,
Yeah.
take it away.
Go easy on my boy. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, just from my perspective, everything that Mica just shared, it warms my heart so much, right? Because it's like I'm kind of like the opposite perspective, right? And again, you and I, we have so many connections because my one and only, first of all, not a girl, but a boy, right? A man at this point. He's also a Virgo.
Oh,
So when you said very independent and just takes care of things, get things done, you just described him as well, right? And so he is over 30. I won't put his business out there, but he's over 30. And I have to say it's a testament to us as well, because isn't that what we wanted? We wanted them to be
yeah.
independent and be able to take the
Right.
tools and go out there, and we're not going to be around forever, so they have to be prepared.
Yes.
Right? We have to leave them prepared. But the reason I say just maybe the opposite perspective is because he's very much to himself, and he's quiet, and we don't have these full-blown conversations that I think more so females, right, daughters,
Mm-hmm.
moms have, because it's
Okay.
that, like, my girlfriend, right, it's my home girl, this, that, and that. You
Yeah.
build that.
Right.
But on the side of a man, of a male, we touch base, we'll text, he'll text me, good morning, how you doing? And that is an everyday thing. So I'm not going to take that from him. And I
Oh, I love that.
so blessed. It's like, good night, great morning, things like that.
Right.
Are you home now? Or text me when you get home. But to sit there and have an actual full-blown conversation, like, we don't have that.
Oh,
We
yeah.
don't
It's
have
a
that.
time thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, for a while, I don't know, I interpreted it as if I was losing my bond with him, right? That's
Okay.
how I felt, because it was always just me and him, and I had him at 21, and we kind of just took on the world together, and I started feeling like I was losing my bond with him. And so it didn't feel good in the moment, but I came to my own realization, just like I was saying to you, you have to find your own hobbies, you have to find
Yeah.
your community, you have to have your own network and your own circle of friends that will not have you sitting at home, doing nothing
Oh,
while they're out now adulting.
Say it
yeah.
again. I told Jada, she said, I'm going to live with you for the rest of your life. I said, oh, no, the hell you won't.
No, no, she won't.
Because
And
I
that
said,
was
no,
that was
no,
my
the hell you won't.
dream.
Because
Yeah.
I said, when you are done with college, so when you go off to college, you can come back home if you need to come back home for a little while. But let me tell you, when you are done, when you and your brother are done, mama got things to do. Because I haven't done things in a long time. And
Right.
I got things to do. And some of y'all need to get your head out the gutter.
I was about to say, I'm about to ask, what kind of things you trying to do?
It is
But
just
no,
as simple
like,
as enjoying a day all by
yeah.
yourself with no interruptions. But girl, that too.
Because things might include that.
That too.
Things might include that. But no, like, I need to have a life. And I, when I recommitted to myself, it wasn't because I don't love my children. It's not because my children get on my nerves. It's because I love my children so much that I have to show them what being myself is.
Yeah.
I'm not just a mom. I was a person before you ever existed.
Yeah.
And I was a dope person.
Yeah.
Before
Wait,
you existed.
Dina told No the other day. No said, he asked her something. You have to share it because I don't want to mess it up with you. But basically, Sheena, I don't want to mess it up. Go ahead.
I don't even know what you're,
about?
because I tell him a lot of stuff. No,
okay.
Go ahead.
So Sheena reminded him that she was Sheena before he came along. She said, I was Sheena. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I remember.
Okay.
I remember saying it and you hearing it and you saying, like, oh yeah. Like,
because now you just know his mom when you drop him off. I know his mom.
Right.
I used to look like,
right.
And I introduce myself. I'm Dutch's mother. Like, nah,
Like,
No.
yeah, like we don't have
Mica.
names anymore.
I just want the like, and I look at these kids like, yo, y'all see my Instagram? My Instagram popping before y'all.
Okay.
Not
Oh
the
my.
My
IG.
whole IG is popping before y'all.
Except now, when you go to pay for your little stuff at the thrift store, you pull little dinosaurs and
Yeah,
Legos out the bag. You so dope, huh?
I'm
With that little
so
the
dope.
LOL dolls falling out the
Right,
bag.
right.
But I am kind of jealous that Jay was like, I want to live with you forever, because Jen was always the opposite. And I think the only reason I haven't packed up and moved to where she's going to school, and this is the honest to God's truth, is because my husband will not let me. And he
Yeah.
won't not let me because he doesn't want me to be happy and be near her. But it's because he's like, you don't trust her. You did all this work. I did all this work. She has
Yeah.
shown us repeatedly that she's on the right track, and you want to go and micromanage her in her own backyard. Like, what's wrong with
Yeah.
you? But
But
otherwise,
but
I
Mika, is it micromanaging, or is it you just wanting to be close to her?
I literally am a smotherer. Like, instead of a mother, I'm a smother. Like, I
Yeah.
am that mom. Like, when people like, oh, my mom's gonna drop me off at the movie theater and come back. Oh, I'm dropping you off in theater one, and I'm gonna be over here crying watching a rom com.
No.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now,
I don't
now listen, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because you can use that as your time to go watch your own movie while she's over
double
there. But
duty.
if you're doing it because you don't want to be away from her, then you and I, we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna have to have a couch conversation.
I know. Well, when I realized that she interpreted it as me not trusting her, and my husband also saying that that's how it looked, is when I started to be more conscious and aware of it.
Mm,
And then reassuring her, like how she reassures me, it's not you, baby. Have you seen the news? Have you seen your timeline? So she knows,
yeah,
and I don't want her to be afraid, and she's not, but she does understand why I'm doing it. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Especially
Yeah.
for females, for girls, and I sometimes, I like the fact that I have a man, a male, that
Yeah.
actually always wanted. I wanted three boys. I didn't want any girls. But in hindsight, I wish I would have had at least one girl so I could have that sister friend, right?
That bestie, I know.
Yeah, I see it with my friends and their daughters, and I'm just like, oh.
But
But
then
I
your
know her
son gave you
granddaughter.
one. Yeah.
So maybe if she's not too busy with her own schedule, she'll find time for grandma.
She'll find time for you.
Yes.
But you mentioned Jada wants to stay home with you, right? And not move out.
That was back in the day. Now she can't wait to get out the house.
Because I
That
was
Oh,
was
gonna say
back in
that's
the
gonna
day.
change. That's gonna
That was
change.
back in the day. Now she can't listen. If
Yeah.
sis could be out in these streets, running all over these streets
Out.
today, she would be out.
He's
But
right.
out.
back in the day, she was like, I'm gonna live with you forever. I'm gonna be with
Mm-mm.
you forever. And I
Mm-mm.
was like, no, baby, that's gonna change as you get older. That mindset is going to change, and I don't want you to have that mindset because I know it's not healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
healthy. Like, and I always like remind her, even now, like, I'm always gonna be here for you. I don't care how old you are, I don't care what you did, you know. I always tell her, like, yo, if you take somebody out, I got your back in front of everybody else, but in private, we gonna talk about it, just
Yeah.
you and I. Like, I'm gonna scold you, just you and I always got your back.
Yeah.
But I understand the importance of her living her life because my mom, I would say that she was strict, right? But the one thing I could say is, as I got older, she let me live my life. She never said,
Yeah.
don't do this. She always supported, even if it was crazy and off the limb,
Yeah.
she supported me. And so, I
That
just
word
want to
support
give
is
that back.
important. Yeah.
I just want to give that back to her and,
Yeah.
and let her know, because I know that it's scary, but I know she has to make mistakes in order to live her life. But I can't stop her from that.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I wanted to touch on Mika. What I was saying was, again, back to the Virgos independent. Let me
Oof.
tell you, my son moved out several times, starting from the age of like probably 17, 18. And there are a few times he made it back. But yeah, he's up and out.
I would have
He's
been
up and out.
pushed.
And I never, like, held him back about it, or I never tried to discourage him from that, because just like Sheena said, he knows I always have his back no matter what.
That's
But
I know that has to feel good though. You know
It
what I
does. It
mean?
does. I'm super proud of him. He showed me that he can really take care of himself, and everything that I did, wasn't in vain. Well, we know
So
Mika's a smotherer.
Oh, self-proclaimed and proud. Lord, thank God I
Listen,
didn't have a son because I'd be that mother that people talk about on
mm-mm,
Instagram. She's weird. Like,
mm-mm, you can't be. You no, no, no.
no.
And it's
So
tough. It's tough.
so
But
yeah,
what I wanted to ask you guys, like, because I'm not where you guys are at yet, right? Like I haven't
right, right.
gotten there yet. Jay is still in high school. Well, just got to high school. And so I'm just kind of like moving into a different phase of her life. Like our dynamic is changing, right? Or has changed recently, but not quite where you ladies are. Um how what is your take on staying in your lane or creating those boundaries either with yourself or with your kid when it comes to the parenting portion?
Yeah.
for me, stop assuming. I cannot assume that she needs this or I need that. You know what I mean? Really
Mm,
explicit communication. How do you feel about A, B, and C? How much contact do you think is, too much, too little? I even asked like early on, I think early on we just started preparing for it years before she left. And we'd be like, oh my God, can you believe we got 2 years left? And what does that look like?
right, right.
So of course you have these lofty ideas and you think once you're in it, it's gonna go haywire. But no, it's almost like, manifestation. This is what it's gonna be like. We're gonna be okay. And
Mm,
what do you expect from me? We talk, my family just as a whole, we all like, what do you need from me? What can I give to you? What am
Yeah.
I doing too much of? What could I do a little bit more of? Sometimes we
right.
hit the mark, sometimes we don't. But I think it helps to set the scene. And then you can go from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mika, where were you in my life of learning communication?
Listen,
Because I swear again, we are the opposite. My family was just like, "Hey, we're gonna wing it. Yeah, talk to you later." Oh, that happened. Oh, no, okay. Oh well, let's take care of it now. Well, let's handle it now. Now that it happened.
Oh,
So, unfortunately, right, we do
yeah.
yeah.
what we know, and we don't know what we don't know, and so there was no such conversation of preparation. Yeah, we had our little talks here and there, but my son and I, we're basically just we wing it, right?
Yeah.
As far as when you ask about boundaries, Sheena, the first thing that comes to mind is two things come to mind, especially now that we're talking about adult children, right? Boundaries when it comes to their own relationships,
Yeah.
right? And
Oof.
that's a whole nother that's a whole nother podcast.
Leave me out of that.
But no, because you guys can have a different perspective. So I've always been one where I don't involve my you know I would say mother-in-law or the mother of whoever I'm
Right.
seeing. I don't involve people in my life and my relationships, right? And so I I handle myself the same way, right? When I was married, I got married later on in life, but I didn't need you to mother me. I didn't need you to mother him to a degree because he now has a wife, right?
Yeah.
Or even in boyfriend girlfriend, it's just boundaries, and I'm very grateful that my son, has someone by his side that she's just an amazing person because it
Um,
makes it really tough when that person that he chooses, you don't connect with,
Right.
right.
right? And it just makes it so much easier when there's a happy, I guess, community is what I
Of
want.
course. Of course. It
Yeah.
streamlines everything.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as a mom, you just sometimes have to learn to mind your business. You
Oof.
see things from a distance, and maybe you can give some advice. But again, my son is the type that's just like, leave him alone.
I feel like
Don't
when
worry
it
about
comes, I
it.
mean, obviously I'm not there with Jada with that just quite yet. I hope not. Um,
Oh, high school.
um,
It's gonna come around sooner than you
but
think after high
I
school.
believe I think there's a healthy way to insert yourself
Yeah.
without rah, 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 rah. And and also knowing how much. You can't always just keep banging them in the head with whatever it is that you want them to know, which is something that I'm learning not to do because I'm a hammer. I like to bang her in the head a lot, but she also doesn't listen. She's 14.
Yeah.
She also doesn't listen. But I think, it's so, because like, I know for me, if my family tells me, hey, what's up with this guy that, he did A, B, and C, or I noticed he said A, B, and C, or he did A, B, and C. I'm going to take that into consideration versus shooing them off like, oh, you in my business. You don't want me to be happy. No, I'm going to take it into consideration. Like, okay, what are they seeing that I'm not seeing? Because it's my family and I know they have my best interests. You know what I mean? Right. So, I mean, I believe there's like a way to be able to insert yourself. But at the end of the day, when talking about adults, even though he's your child or she's your child, you have to understand they're going to make their mistakes.
Absolutely, because we did it.
Yeah, we did it. Listen.
You did it.
I did it twice. I got the proof.
No mistakes. No mistakes. Those are learning.
No, it's not a mistake, but not paying attention in the moment, right?
Yeah, those red flags. You're like, oh, look at this pretty red flag. I want to play with it.
Yeah, it's like
I want to wave
I mean, I believe there's a healthy way to be able to insert yourself as a mom without being like, do it my way, see it my way.
Oh no, you can't do that at all. Especially when they're adults, that goes out the window. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can offer advice. You can kind of share your experience in that same topic or area or whatever it was, but then you leave it at that.
Yeah.
You leave it at that. Whichever way they go with it, they go with it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm always afraid of having too much opposition, even though my daughter's not rebellious. I just know girls, especially with boys. And usually when you're like, I don't like that person, it make them want them even more.
Oh, that was me when I was younger.
Right? Yeah. So I haven't run into that, but I don't want to. And I feel like she's a decent judge of character and she tends to pull away from friends because she's done it a million times that just don't serve her, and she is dating for the first time, like a real relationship. And I don't think much of it, which is strange, and I'm proud of myself.
You know what I'm doing now that Jada's younger, which I didn't have growing up, and probably none of us have growing up. I talk to her, so she's not dating now, but she's in high school. Oh, this boy is cute, this person is cute, oh, he's cute, so and so likes me. But so I just talk to her about the dynamics of interacting with people in that realm.
Yeah.
Because I hate to say the opposite sex because that's not the world we live in anymore. But I try to talk to her like, everybody doesn't have your best interest just because someone says you're pretty or, we have those talks like, okay, so you and so think each other's cute, what's he like? What are you guys talking about? What are your conversations like? What are his behaviors like? Like we're having those conversations, just candid conversations. And I'm just letting her talk and tell me what she's experiencing and what's going on so that I can offer the right kind of feedback versus what I think I should be saying.
Mm-hmm.
And also to keep her from being secretive about it, right? Because you're opening up those lines of communication and you're making her comfortable with it as opposed to maybe what we've all gone through. I don't know. I can only speak for myself where I felt like I had to hide things. Right?
Yeah, because I know.
Get in trouble and things of that nature, right? So then now you're going through these experiences clueless, obviously making mistakes because did Mica did she chuckle back there? I don't know.
I'm chuckling. I'm gonna tell you guys a little story. I was in high school sometime, and I met this boy. I had come out of school. I was with a group of friends. I thought he was a boy. That's how naive I was. I thought he was a boy. He was a whole man.
I was gonna say, wasn't a boy?
I gave him my number because back then it was house phones.
Oh yeah.
It was house phones, and he calls my house from the county jail. So when he called, I said,
"Oh my God,
I love it."
I said, "I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is."
That is when you should have never dated
But
again.
I never dated. I gave him my number,
But
right?
wait,
We
where'd
didn't
you?
go anywhere. We didn't go anywhere. I couldn't go
Okay.
nowhere. I couldn't go
Obviously,
nowhere.
he wasn't in jail when you met him. So
He was outside the school within a day or two. He was in the county
he was
jail.
back in the con.
And
Ooh,
my
girl.
dad, I want to say my dad picked up the phone.
Oh,
He
I
might
said,
have been in the county jail for being around the school.
I said, I don't know who that is.
you have a collect call from.
Westchester
Listen,
County facility.
I think do we all know what those calls sound like? I sure as hell do.
Let's just say that was my first and my last time. So I mean, nowadays I just try to keep it 100 with her. I ask her a lot of open-ended questions, and hopefully that can bring us through as she grows older and as our dynamic changes, and so that she understands that one, I got her back. I'm listening. I hear what she's going through matters. And two, I was that age too, and I have my own experiences that I could share. And also, because I've come out on the other side of it, I can lend a different perspective. So, for me, I'm just, I don't need to be up under her. I don't need her to be up under me. I just need her to know that I'm her mama and continue loving on me, but know that I'm here. Don't forget me. That's all I need from her.
Yeah. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal as a mom. That people tend to forget. At least our kids tend to forget, right? Don't forget me.
Yeah.
And we come to those terms where, like, I've come to the terms, right back to the boundaries, where you're a grown man. You have your own life. You have, especially now, he has a child, he has a family, and all that stuff. And so, like, going back to the beginning of the topic, was you have to find your own space and time to breathe.
Right.
Give him a space, even back away sometimes. Like, my son is so awesome because it's always been us, right? So it's Mother's Days and birthdays, and he's awesome at planning events and things like that.
Oh.
Always takes care of me in that sense. But, I also know that it's not his responsibility.
Yeah.
Of course, as a child, you want to do that, and it's great, and we raised them properly, but it's not your responsibility, especially now that you have your own family.
Right.
And I understand that.
I need
totally,
other
I'm not
boy
that
moms to listen to this. Sorry, can you run that back for the other boy moms, because they are making all the women out here mad.
No.
These mamas who act like their kids is their husband.
No, and that's where no, thank you, because
that's a word.
That's where the mom has to, come to realization that there's a shift.
Yeah.
We all want to be like, oh no, but I sit in the front seat because I'm his.
Oh my goodness.
Listen,
Who comes first?
rightfully so, you can share that space, especially if if it's a girlfriend, but if it's a, he has his children, his wife. Listen, you were maybe that woman in a household at one point that needed to be priority. Let that young lady now have that role. Have that role. What's the big deal? Sit in the back seat. You had him for 20, 30, 40 years, whatever. Give that whole family their respect and give them that platform to grow as a family and function as a family.
That's what we're missing in this generation, is men mothered by women who have this husband-son relationship. And as being single, it's hard to find a single man whose mother is not all up and through it all. It's like, I'll never be your number one if your mother is your everything.
Bingo.
You want a man who loves his mom.
Right.
You want a man who's like, they're deciding who they're going to be with on Valentine's Day. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that's weird.
And it's tough for the man in the middle, right? We're going to say the man in the middle. It's tough for them. So as a mom, you got to at least take that load off and show him that as part of being a man and growing into that role. You got to take a step back. If you're single, figure it out. I'm single, I figure it out. I don't care if I'm sitting here watching TV by myself on my birthday or Valentine's Day. Oh, I'm going to go find me a boo, right? But your son is not your boo.
Okay.
No, your son is not your boo.
And you know what I think? I think what would make it even easier on the young men is if if girlfriend wasn't in competition with mama too, because sometimes they just assume that mama's trying to do the most.
Yep,
I'd
Yeah.
yep,
like to
yep.
see them fight over, no, baby girl, you sit in the front next to my son. No, mama, you're the older one. You sit in the
Yeah.
front. I would like to see that rather than that's right. I should
Yeah,
sit in the front
yeah,
because I had his kids. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Mika,
I
I'm gonna
think
stop
that's
you. I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you. We gotta take a break, but get right back to that because that sounded like it was about to be awesome.
yes. Mutual respect, mutual love. Like for him to see that on his left and his right, I think would make it a whole lot easier because everybody can get the love. Everybody
Right.
can be important. It's just when women come in already guarded and then moms come in already protective. I
Right.
like to see them fight over who could be sweeter to each other, right? That's going to set the tone for
Right.
how he treats each of them, how they treat each other, and then how they treat him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that no, that yeah, of course, because instead of going at each other's throats like I'm better, you're not, oh she's this or she's that. It's we're all showing the love, you know what I mean? It all
Yes.
comes full circle. And so I guess my question to you guys is, um with all that being said, like how are you guys managing, from your perspectives, how are you guys managing this stage in your lives? Because Sonia's, mothering a 30 something year old, and Mica, you're mothering, an
My
18-year
19,
old,
she's
like
19
19.
now.
Sorry, she just turned 19.
I
I
know.
know. Like how are you, um how are you how are you navigating that today? Like what does that look like for you, and how you're moving forward with being in this different space of parenting?
I think I'm moving with gratitude, right? Because, like I said, it's hard to believe that our relationship
Gratitude.
is as dope as it is. So every day, I thank God that especially when I get my message or I know she's cool. She woke up, she went to work, she went to school. I'm just like, thank you, God, for giving me a baby to even worry about out there.
Mm.
And the hippie side of me is really proudly just going with the flow and being anxious
Mm,
for like the next step. We're going into semester 2 here soon. And I'm like, wow, like that wasn't bad at all.
it
So
went by
just seeing the
fast.
joy in it and enjoying her getting older because we know every day now is a gift. So I think I'm just choosing to shift what I'm concerned about. And it's no longer, is she going to be okay? Is she going to call me? Is she going to realize that life is amazing without her mother up her back? She misses me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so I'm good with that. And when we see each other, it's always like Christmas. So I think I'm just going with the flow. That's how I'm dealing with it, and just trying to put positivity into her and around her.
I love it.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love
Gratitude. I like that. If y'all haven't wrote that down, y'all need to write that down.
for sure.
Gratitude.
I wrote it down. I wrote it down.
Gratitude.
Oh, stop.
I like Mika. She's so like zen.
Don't make me cry. Like, please. Sheena had me crying this morning when she got me together. Like, just don't make me cry. I'm just,
Oh.
look,
I
it's so,
Listen,
did.
if that's what you feel like doing, then this is the platform to do it, right?
yes. I'm
Because we
glad we're
all
I
not
been
on
there.
did.
video.
I
Listen,
did. I did. Because I'm the spicy, like, is spicy the word, Meek?
We could be spicy.
I'm spicy. Like, I react first and think later, if that's a good way
That's
of.
okay.
girl. Woo,
And Mika
that's
will
two of
tell
us.
you, I just kind of do and think about it later. Like I just, if it's a feeling in my heart, I go
Yeah,
with it. And sometimes that leads me down the right path,
girl.
and sometimes it leads me into the wilderness.
Woo,
But either way,
wilderness.
I somehow come full circle and find myself back right on the yellow brick road. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's like Sonia, for you, like how are you managing today? Like what does this look like for you?
So this
Where do you
season
see
in my
yourself?
life, this season in my life, when it comes to how I manage, right? Having an adult child. And then I always have to throw my little princess in there, my little grandbaby in there, right? Because she's an extension, obviously.
Yes.
Um, and 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 I love the fact that Mica said gratitude, but for me, I feel like it's just my season of kind of like sitting still
Mm.
and allowing myself to do nothing if I choose to do nothing, right? Allowing myself to go walk in the park or allowing myself to spend 2 hours in the gym and being okay with not being responsible for not a soul,
Wow.
Yeah, I
for
can
not a soul,
understand that. Whew.
right? Because just like Sheena said in the beginning, we give, 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 and then we've all said it. When will it be my time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is your time, but you still want to be mothering.
And then when they're telling you I'm good, at that point it's just like, okay. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's been your time 3 years ago,
Yes.
but you want to keep Miss Mica
I know.
smothering.
I know. You're so right. Oh my
So,
God.
is it possible to have? Is it possible to have a little bit of both of you guys? Because, like, I want the gratitude, right?
Yeah.
But then I also want the, if I want to sit here and do nothing. Because,
Yeah.
Sonia, I want to get back to calling you, like, yo, you want to go lay on the beach in our bikinis again? Like, do
It's
you remember
around the
that time?
corner
I remember that.
though.
I
It's
remember
Like,
that.
around the corner.
like
And then
I
you
want
gotta
to,
you have a gap in age, right? And a sweet
oh,
child. So that's
it
me,
Yeah.
is.
right? So I'm not the mother who allows my child to raise her little sister. However,
No.
because of that, she loves her sister. And her goal is, I can't wait to get my place. Can I? And she asked me, can I take her for summers and stuff like that? Because she's homeschooled. So if you foster their relationship, you get that break sooner, baby. And you don't have to, butter her up or pay her. She's going to want to come and
Wait,
get
I
her
see
brother.
Sheena's wheels spinning.
Look, she's like,
See
hold
it.
on
I
now.
see it.
But when you create that bonding and that respect between the two of them, it
Yeah.
makes for that extension, right? You don't want her to be, Noah's mom. Obviously, Jay's not the mom,
No.
but you want her to feel like we have this bond to where I want to be near him and I love and respect my mom. I want to tell her to go get lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
that's
don't,
gonna come too. So you're really at an advantage as
I
long as
hope so.
have because you talking about having fun. I don't know, you might end up with another babe. I don't know.
No, no,
No,
no.
no, no.
I
She
can't
know
speak
No,
for
better.
we
your
never
uterus.
said, don't put that on my
Look,
name,
I
Lord.
can't speak for your uterus. I just know.
Don't speak on my uterus. You don't know
No.
my uterus like that. You don't know my
All right.
uterus like
I
that.
just wanted a
All
new
I'm
baby to
saying,
sniff. That's all. I'm sorry.
all I'm saying is that
Sheena's like, go find it somewhere else.
he's probably he's probably giving he's with his sister right now as we're recording this right now, and he's probably taking her to the gates right
So
now.
he's
So I
messing up
don't
your
know.
chance to
No,
get
no,
pregnant
no, no,
sooner.
no, no's a handful.
No gives her a run for her money. So
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
if
yeah.
she puts him to the side, I can't be mad at her.
I said she would take him. I didn't say she wouldn't tie him up. You know what I'm saying? But you will get that time sooner than later to call and say,
Yeah.
let's go on this trip, for the weekend. There's always not an end in sight, but as we shift, there's always these different phases,
Yes.
and a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
level of
Yeah. And let
parenting.
me I'm sorry, Mica.
No, you're good.
And let me just say that, when you do get that opportunity, there's another shift that has to happen when you're okay with it, because you might get a few days break and then you're like, okay, 3 days is enough. I gotta go back. I
Oh,
gotta,
that
I gotta
mommy
be with them.
guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that mommy guilt is big.
Yeah. 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 Or not even the guilt, but like, oh, I miss, I miss
Mhm.
seeing them. And it's already been like, sometimes I just want to drive up to my son's house and his partner and be with them. And it's just because I want to be in their presence.
Oh,
That's what children,
Yeah.
especially as adults, like, you know, and because I call it a blind spot, right? They don't know that that's what it is, right? Because
Yeah.
yeah.
when they become parents of adults, they'll understand. But it's just, you're my family, and like, I feel at home as long as I'm around you. Right. But at the same time, I know that, okay, 2 days is enough. I'm going to my home. I'm out.
Okay. Look, and I
Right.
need people who are listening. You hear this? Think about those your parents and those seniors and how they get on your nerves. They call you, they want to talk about their bunion or whatever for 30 minutes. You get to see inside of the mind of parents and how they still just love you, and like Sonia said, just want to
Yeah.
be near you.
Yeah.
And we are mad because this friend did this and our man did that, but somewhere there's that elder aunt or that mom, whoever saw you, as their child or the person that they care for, who misses you and genuinely just loves you. And I think that's something that we forget. You think they're older, they're over it, they're grumpy, whatever the case may be. But we really do love y'all. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and enjoy
Yeah.
you and need you. We want that hug from that baby, that sure bet, that person we know loves us too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful.
Well, Mica, I feel like Mica kind of just wrapped it up and summed it up for us in such a beautiful, elegant way.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mica, for that. Thank you so much for listening to Resilient Brown Mamas. We hope you enjoyed the conversation today. Be sure to subscribe to Resilient Brown Mamas on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. And remember, we want to hear from you. So email us at resilientbrownmamas@gmail.com to share your resilient stories and comments. You can also visit us on resilientbrownmamas.com for merch and much, much more.
Until next week, this is Mica Rose.
Sheena B.
And Sonia G.
And don't forget, you are hella resilient.